ग्रेट गुड मॉर्निंग ऑफिसर्स। मैं सुमित कुमार सिंह आप तमाम यूपीएससी एस्पायरेंट्स या कोई अदर कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन की तैयारी कर रहे विद्यार्थियों का इस मगध पुत्र ड्रीम आईएएस यूट्यूब चैनल में अभिनंदन करता हूँ। माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, हम लोग आज 2017 का हिस्ट्री पेपर 2 हिस्ट्री का प्रश्न पत्र दूसरा आज हम लोग इसे रीड करने जा रहे हैं। हम यहाँ कुछ कोई विशेष विश्लेषण कोई एनालिसिस नहीं करेंगे, बशर्ते जो भी प्रश्न पत्र में दिया गया है प्रश्न उसे हम एज इट इज रिवाइज रिकॉल और एक प्रकार से हम रीड करेंगे। ठीक है, तो आइए प्रारंभ करते हैं। सिविल सेवा मुख्य परीक्षा 2017 इतिहास प्रश्न पत्र दूसरा। क्वेश्चन पेपर फर्स्ट ऑलरेडी अपलोड हो चुके हैं, आप जाके प्लेलिस्ट में जाकर देख सकते हैं। ठीक है, हिस्ट्री के सेक्शन में। तो सबसे पहले हम इसके कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस जो दिए गए हैं उसे पढ़ने का प्रयास करते हैं। टाइम अलॉट 3 आवर्स एंड मैक्सिमम मार्क्स 250 मार्क्स, ये कभी नहीं बदलता। जीएस ऑप्शनल सभी के मार्क्स 250 ही होते हैं। तो आइए पढ़ते हैं क्वेश्चन पेपर स्पेसिफिक इंस्ट्रक्शन हिस्ट्री पेपर 2। प्लीज रीड ईच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस केयरफुली बिफोर अटेम्प्टिंग क्वेश्चंस. There are 8 questions divided in 2 sections and printed both in Hindi and in English. Candidates has to attempt 5 questions in all. Question number 1 and 5 are compulsory, and out of the remaining 3 are to be attempted choosing at least one question from each sections. The number of marks carried by a question part is indicated against it. Answers must be written in the medium authorized in the admission certificate, which must be stated clearly on the cover of the question cum answer booklet in the space provided, and no marks will be given for answers written in a medium other than the authorized one. Word limit शब्दों की सीमा in questions wherever specified should be adhered to. Attempt of questions shall be counted in sequential order unless struck off. Attempt of questions shall be counted even if attempted partially. Any page or portion of the page left blank in the question cum answer booklet must be clearly struck off. Now, Khand A, Section A. Question number 1. Critically examine the following statement in about 150 words each. The Maratha polity disintegrated through internal stress. Now B. The chief value of Raja Ram Mohan Rai labors seem to lie in his fight against the forces of medievalism in India. The British Railways constructions policy in India benefited British company in the 19th century. Now, question number D. The Arya Samaj may quite logically be pronounced as the outcome of the conditions imported into the India from the West. Question number E. Sri Narayan Gurus was a major interventions in the social reform movement from the subaltern perspective. Now 2A. Explain the factor responsible for the recurrence of famines in the 19th century. What remedial measures were adopted by the British India government? Now question number B. Assess the role of the press in arousing awareness on important social issues in the second half of the 19th century. Now question number C. Underline the major considerations of the British imperial power that lead to the annexation of Punjab. Now question number 3A. Trace the origin of the Gadar movement and discuss its impact on the revolutionaries in India. Explain why the efforts at finding solution to India's constitutional impasses failed during 1942 to 1946. Discuss the nature of the peasants' movement under the Kisan Sabha during the 1920s and 1940s. Discuss how satyagrahas of Gandhi's removed the spell of fear among the Indians and thus knocked off an important pillar of imperialisms. Now, how far the development in science and technology in the post-independence period put India the path of modernity. C. Throw the light on the nature of instrument of accession and stand still agreement signed by the princely estate with the Indian Union. Now क्वेश्चन हो गया सेक्शन ए का. नाउ हम लोग सेक्शन बी का क्वेश्चंस को रीड करेंगे. Critically examine the following statement in about 150 words each. Kant's redefinition of regions and his rehabilitations of conscience marked a high point in the intellectual reaction against dominant rationalisms of the Enlightenment. ठीक है. Question number second B. The spirit behind the great reforms of Napoleon consulate. At home was the transference of methods of Bonaparte, the general, to the tasks of Bonaparte, the statesman. The root of the Chartist movement in the Great Britain were partly political and partly economic. Question number D. On 18th January 1781 had been the day of triumph for the strength and the pride of Germany. And 28th June 1919 was the day of chastisement. Question number E. The collapse of the Berlin Wall on 9 November 1989 brought new meaning to the idea of corporation in Europe. Question number 6A. Explain why England became the harbinger of the Industrial Revolution, also through the light of social consequences. Now, why was the First World War termed as the first total war in modern history? Discuss how agrarian crisis accompanied by severe industrial depression triggered the revolution of 1848. Now, what determinant factors along with the diplomatic set the process of German unification? Examine the statement that B. Examine the statement that the danger of Bolshevism dominated not only the history of the year immediately following the Russian Revolution of 1917, but the entire history of the world since that date. Question number 7C. Explain why Bolivar's efforts failed to fructify in bringing about the united stand of the Latin Americans. Question number 8A. Examine the circumstances which lead to the overthrow of democracy and establishment of fascist dictatorship in Italy. Question number 8B. By 1980s, the communist system of the Soviet Union was incapable of maintaining the country's role as a superpower. Substantiate. Now, question number 8C. Examine the nature of the Dutch imperialism in Indonesia. ठीक है, तो ये क्वेश्चन पूरा का पूरा सेक्शन बी भी खत्म हुआ. अब सेक्शन ए हम ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं. तो ये हम लोगों ने देखा यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज हिस्ट्री का पेपर 2 2017 इतिहास के प्रश्न पत्र. सो अगर ये वीडियो आपको अच्छा लगा हो तो आप हमारे चैनल को लाइक शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें. ऑल्सो प्लीज द बेल आइकन. कोई क्वेरीज कमेंट सजेशन एडवाइस कमेंट बॉक्स में पूछ सकते हैं. थैंक यू वंस अगेन. हैव अ ग्रेट डे.